Hello all, this is Just Incorporated. Um, Kinda angry because I just recorded this whole video and then it got deleted. So, try it again. Day 3, disappointments. I've been struggling a lot with this video, hence the lack of video for almost a week now. I just didn't really know how to discuss it, how to attack this subject. I wanted to do it with like a script, or well, not really a script, but kind of like some points to touch on, but it kind of takes away from my whole initial thought process for it. I kind of wanted it to be raw, so it's almost a real-time update, but not because I'm recording it and editing and all that, but disappointments. Well, let me just explain what this is going to be about. Today's video is about the disappointments that I've faced over in the past, more specifically recent times, and how I plan to overcome them, how I plan to overcome them, make them turn them from negatives and positive. I guess I'm going to touch on a couple. There's probably going to be a part 2 in the future when I get everything together, but I'll just touch on 2 today. Disappointment number 1, the biggest disappointment, is school. Beginning about a year ago, everything kind of started changing for me. I just finished my spring semester, spring 2010, and things were different. Grades were different. I had ended up failing a class, and in failing that class, kind of came like an array of just negative things happening. Because I failed that class, it effed up my GPA, which in turn effed up my financial aid. Because, well, in effing up my financial aid, it basically made it so I couldn't get any anymore. So they took away my financial aid, which really got me discouraged. And I was like, okay, there has to be a way for me to fix this. I gotta change this. So I appealed it, and they gave it back to me. And basically, I signed up for summer classes. I was determined. I was like, okay, whatever just happened, this can't happen again. So I got my financial aid back, signed up for summer classes, started going. Came down to paying for the summer classes, and I thought financial aid would cover everything. And they didn't. And I thought that I'd have the money to cover whatever financial aid didn't cover. And I didn't. Thus, my classes were dropped. All of them. And I was basically out of school for the summer. And so that kind of took away my opportunity to fix that situation. And on top of that, I was like, well, there's no point in me having an on-campus job if I'm not going to be able to stay on campus or have a reason to be on campus if I'm not taking any classes. So I quit my job for the summer. And that's kind of what jump-started depression that I began to go through. Come fall 2010, I got my aid back, and I was ready. I wasn't completely prepared But I was ready to tackle that semester and just kind of rebuild everything that had already gone wrong. It didn't exactly go that way. And with that disappointment in myself, so came more depression. And I struggled in getting books because I couldn't afford any because I didn't have any money from the summer. And getting discouraged about all that, a breakup occurred after a 2-year-long relationship. So, breakup, financial aid taken away, classes dropped, complete discouragement after a failed class that I really didn't have to fail. I was completely depressed. And in completely being depressed, I began to skip classes and not do any work. I didn't see the point. I was too depressed to do anything. And so obviously all my grades dropped. And I got to the point where toward the end of November, I just stopped going to class altogether. I had completely given up. I was done. And obviously after that, I didn't take any finals. And tried to see a counselor, that didn't work. They basically told me, if you're really trying to start seeing a counselor, then you're gonna have to be enrolled in school next semester. Which I didn't even know if that was gonna happen. I didn't even care at that point. So I failed every single class. Because I was on appeal, I violated my appeal. So they took away my financial aid again. And I got put on probation for failing every class. So I was completely at rock bottom. Completely. And I talked to God because I was so depressed. It was bad. Rock bottom. Completely depressed. Almost suicidal. Everything. So I talked to God. And I asked Him to bring me out of that situation. And I told myself that if He did, then I would change my complete outlook on life, on everything, on school, on relationships, everything. And it happened. And I appealed my financial aid again. They granted me my appeal. They gave me my aid back. And I changed. I decided to be more positive. Completely optimistic. Everything. But once again, things started. I think unexpected things began to happen. Like, my best friend left for specific reasons. I felt bad. I felt awful, really, and I didn't know who to turn to. I felt so alone, but I told myself I couldn't give up. I had to stay optimistic. I had to stay positive. I had problems with my books again, but I just tried to stay positive. But things began to get to me, especially this class, that began to stress me out. At the beginning, I was studying really hard, but that kind of faded, and I guess I got distracted altogether. And in that distraction, on top of being stressed out from this class, it all kind of started to affect all my classes altogether. And the stress from one class kind of piled onto the other classes, and I would skip classes and I wouldn't do the work. And I would keep telling myself throughout that whole situation that I could still finish strong. I could still make it. I could still change this whole situation around. And I worked hard. I worked very hard. And it got to the point where I was so stressed out, I was just ready to give up. But I couldn't. I was determined. And I tried my hardest, but come the end of the semester, I still ended up failing that one class that stressed me out the most. And that in turn put me right back in the place that I was in a couple times before. Violated my appeal, which brings me to that disappointment. A year, and I'm still in this exact same place. I'm truly disappointed in myself for that.